Hey, welcome everyone to the review of the Jabra Elite 85H headphones. Now, if you want to see the written version of this review, you can find a link to my website in the video description. Now, this is Jabra's take on the premium headphones with ANC, active noise cancelling, to take on the market which has been dominated by Sony and Bose for many years. When it comes to pricing, in Canada it ranges between $320 to $350, whereas in the US it just kind of flats out at even $250. I'm happy to say that the Elite 85H supports connectivity via Bluetooth and an auxiliary port. The auxiliary connectivity is self-explanatory, there's not much to go over here, but it's nice to have that option. The 3.5mm auxiliary port is at the bottom of the right ear cup. Be mindful, if the battery dies, you can't listen to anything even with an auxiliary cable. Even Bluetooth is neat here because it supports dual connectivity. You heard that correctly. You could, for example, connect this to a computer and smartphone at the same time, both over Bluetooth. Of course, you can only listen to audio on one device at a time. In my testing, if I connected to both my computer and smartphone at the same time, but I played audio on my computer first and then tried to play something at the same time on my smartphone, just for testing purposes, it wouldn't work. It would brute force the smartphone content to automatically pause immediately. So what it does is take priority over the devices playing first. And it does it vice versa. If I started on my smartphone first, and let it play, and try to play something on my computer, it won't work. So as long as you stop playing on one device and switch to the other, it'll work just fine. And of course, it's pretty much the same story when it comes to phone calls. If you're, say, on a Teams or Zoom call on your computer, you can't accept one on your phone at the same time. You can only do one phone call on one device at a time. In terms of range, Jabra writes that it's good for 33 feet. In my testing, I was able to achieve 50 feet even without clear line of sight to my device, and the audio was still solid with no cutting out. So range will definitely not be a problem by any means with these headphones. A hard traveler's pouch is included in the box, which is perfect to protect this expensive piece of equipment. Jabra also didn't waste any space, so the case is designed to be as compact as possible. Also included in the box is a USB-A to USB-C cable for charging, which is only about 11 inches long, and a 3.5mm auxiliary cable. There's no power adapter included in the box, as you're expected to use your own, like say from your smartphone, or charge it by connecting directly to a computer. The body is rather unique. It's not your typical looking simple smooth plastic, instead it's covered with the fabric material. I was concerned it would attract dust easily in my home environment, but thankfully that's not the case. It tends to remain rather clean. However, if you traverse through a dirty environment often, let's say when going to work, or if you work in a kind of a dusty environment, like say maybe in a dry cleaners where there's constant lint in the air, then it might be susceptible to catching dust and fabrics quite often, which could be annoying in those cases. The body is rather large, even for an over-the-ear type design. Not only that, but it weighs 298 grams, which is a little heavy in the hand to hold, but you won't notice it too much when it's on your head. However, I believe the slightly heavy weight is related to the headphones being a bit bulky. Say compared to the Sony WH-1000 XM5s, which is 250 grams. So about 48 grams lighter. Despite the slightly large body, you can't deny that these headphones are very attractive. There are a variety of colors available and all of them look great and unique. Again, thanks to that fabric material. Another plus for the body? It feels firm. Too often, premium headphones from various manufacturers can feel cheap and flimsy. Thankfully, the Elite 85H feel rock solid. Maybe the weight plays a part here too. Regardless, even though the ear cups can fold in, the entire body still feels solid. This pair of headphones is wonderfully comfortable. Even when wearing them for 4 hours straight on multiple occasions, my ears never got too warm, sweaty, or my head uncomfortable. You shouldn't plan to exercise in them, of course, since they're over-the-ear type. You'll sweat like crazy wearing these. But just sitting around doing nothing, and just maybe going for a walk, you won't sweat at all. I never have once. The flex on the headband is tight, but doesn't cause any discomfort. This isn't an issue, but just something I felt like mentioning. While the headphones are resting on my neck, they're a bit uncomfortable. This is due to the flex being a bit tight and the rather large ear cups. This isn't a big deal, but something that might be of interest to some people to know. While in this position, I have a tough time moving my head left, right, and even looking down. You're better off placing them on top of your head or leaving it on your ears and enabling hear-through mode. The top band has rather thick cushioning, which will be great for people with little to no hair. The leatherette ear cup padding has some nice thickness, which is one of the main reasons these headphones are a pleasure to wear for short or long periods of time. The ear cups can rotate forward, backward, up and down. Of course, the headband has a decent extension to accommodate people with longer head shapes. And of course, when extending the headbands, it doesn't click into place in multiple notches. It's just a smooth pull out, push in. And in case you're wondering, yes, the ear cups can be also replaced, as they can easily pop right off, which is a nice to have feature. Another neat feature of the body is that it's rain resistant. This works great for people that live in rainy areas like the city of Seattle or all of the UK. When the headphones get wet, they do retain water for a little while due to the body being covered with fabric material. And again, it's rain resistant, not water resistant, so just be mindful of that. The left ear cup only has one button called sound mode, which allows you to cycle between ANC on, ANC off, and hear through mode, which I'll discuss all in further detail shortly. Holding sound mode's button allows cycling through moments, which are basically sound profiles found in the Jabra Sound Plus mobile app, which again I'll also cover later. On the right is the mute microphone button, which mutes the microphone if on a call, obviously, but allows activation of your voice assistant, whatever you have synced up with your smartphone. Supported voice assistants are Google Assistant, Siri, and in my testing with Android and Google Assistant, activating the assistant works great and uses the headphone microphones to listen for commands. Continuing on the right side of the headphones are subtly hidden controls. A top button for increasing volume and holding it goes to the next track, and the lowest button to lower volume and holding it goes to the previous track. The middle button is a multi-function button which allows answering and hanging up a call, play pause music, and holding it activates Bluetooth pairing mode. There is a media auto pause feature when you take the headphones off. Placing the back on your head automatically plays and resumes your music. This of course works well for music apps on a phone, but also for computer media apps like Spotify, VLC, and even YouTube. Powering the headphones on and off is different from most headphones. You need to twist the right ear cup in a flat position to turn it off. Twisting it to a wearing position turns it on. In case you have a concern that at times you need to abruptly place it down and forget to turn the ear cup to the off position to save power, don't worry because they'll automatically enter sleep mode to conserve battery after 1 hour of inactivity. Now, as mentioned earlier, there is ANC mode on these headphones. Except there's not much to talk about here because the performance is lacking, especially at this price point is rather disappointing. In fact, simply putting them on and leaving ANC mode off muffles out a lot of noise, and that's because the leatherette ear cups do such a fantastic job of naturally canceling out noise. But if you were to walk down the street, say to a bus stop or maybe a subway station, and not having ANC mode perform that well, you will hear some high screeching noises like say maybe when the subway car is stopping. ANC is a little bit disappointing in that regard. Jabra advertises that the battery lasts 36 hours with ANC on, and I averaged 30 hours, which is impressive, so 2 hours more than what Jabra advertises. With ANC off, I was able to get a whopping 42 hours of battery, which is nuts and very impressive. When it comes to hear-through mode, which basically, as I mentioned earlier, allows you to hear everything in your surrounding, even if you're wearing the headphones, I was once again able to average 38 hours, which is the same as noise cancelling mode. For recharge time, Jabra documentation mentions that it'll take about 150 minutes to fully recharge these headphones, except in my testing, I was able to get it in only 113 minutes. The charging port is located at the bottom right of the ear cup and is thankfully a USB-C port. While charging, you can listen to audio just fine. Now, when it comes to microphone quality, this is what Jabra is kind of really well known for. As some of you might be familiar with my YouTube channel, I have reviewed a fair chunk of their headsets. Again, not headphones, but headsets with the boom mic. But what I'll do is give you a quick sample test of what the microphone sounds like as I was simulating as if it was in a noisy cafe. So I'm going to switch to that clip just now. I'm going to use my camera microphone first because camera microphones are horrible. Then switch to the Elite 85H microphones, and you guys can compare and make a judgment call as to what you think about the terms of the microphone and call quality of these headphones. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is giving a sample from the camera, just to give you an idea of what it sounds like to mimic a noisy cafe environment. Of course, the camera microphone is not that great, but that's the entire point. So let me stop talking so you can hear how bad and loud it is around me. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to the audio of the 85H microphone. So right now I switched over. You should be able to get an example of as I'm talking, can you hear a lot of the background noise? I'll let you be the judge for that yourself. But now we're using the headphones as the audio test. Let me stop talking so you can kind of see how much of the noise is suppressed while I'm no longer talking. When it comes to sound quality, it's good but not great. Mids and highs is where it performs splendid. Mids sound crystal clear, and especially highs. In fact, if you adjust the equalizer on the highs in the Sound Plus app, which I'll get to very shortly for cell phones, it can get too high, even for me. But of course, you can always just lower it down on the equalizer. You don't have to go all the way up. But where things kind of lack is bass. Now out of the box, at neutral profile with the equalizer flat, bass is seriously lacking. But again, you can adjust it slightly up in the equalizer to increase performance, which helps greatly. You get a punch out of the bass, but you don't get a boom, like a oomph, right? Especially at this price point, I was expecting something a little bit better. A little disappointed. It's not the end of the world. It's still decent quality, but again, even with the equalizer helping, it's not what I was really expecting at this price point. What I find strange about bass output is that when compared to the Jabra Elite 45H, which is roughly a quarter of the cost or a third depending if it's on sale or not, compared to the 85H, the 45H performs better. And it's not just by a little bit, you can actually really notice them when you have both headphones like I do. As with music, there's a similar performance when it comes to action movie sequences or video games with action sequences with explosions and gunshots and, well, other violent stuff. I guess it's usually violent, isn't it? Yeah, it's usually violence in video games that kind of give the best sound performance. Anyway, moving along. Again, at a neutral equalizer mode, it's pretty boring. Nothing fantastic there, but once you adjust the bass, especially a little bit higher, the performance is a lot better. So now Jabra has a software for computers called Jabra Direct, and which is weird because you would expect their premium headphones to be applicable and usable with this app for computers. It doesn't work. Kind of bizarre. However, it does work for the Jabra mobile app, which is called Sound Plus, and there you can adjust everything. Now I'm going to dive into a quick demonstration and show you what it looks like. But one of the interesting things I noticed is that if you adjust the equalizer on the Sound Plus app and you have it hooked up to, say, a computer or a smartphone like this, whatever you adjust in the equalizer here on your smartphone, it will carry that performance over to a computer. So for example, out of the box, the equalizer is neutral. I always tend to bump the bass up a little bit. I'll do that on the mobile app because I have to do it here. It seems to remember what you've set through the mobile app and then carry it over to any other paired devices. So now switching over to the Sound Plus app for mobile devices, at the very top you'll notice is a section called Moments. These are basically preset profiles, which basically if you tap one of them, say for commute for example, what I'll try to do is turn ANC on, and if it's say in private, automatically turn on hear through mode. But whatever you adjust down below, you can set as a custom profile instead if you want to. And of course you can activate ANC, hear through mode, or just simply turn ANC and hear through mode both off. Going a little bit further down is the equalizer, and of course you have music presets. Simply tapping on them will adjust the equalizer mode to adjust accordingly to whatever the header is about. A little bit further down to soundscape is basically kind of background noises or white noises if you want to say concentrate or something, or just kind of mellow out and relax. One thing I noticed that's consistently scrolling with me at the bottom of the screen is Smart Sound. Basically, try to activate it. What it tries to do is use the microphones on the headphones to listen to the background noise around you and then try to apply ANC mode on and off automatically for you. It tries to use AI listening basically, except it doesn't work that well. So basically when I was with my kids, some of them were playing toys, some of them were watching TV, my wife was washing the dishes. It was pretty loud at that moment. So what it basically did was turn ANC mode on, and then it said I was in private mode. So despite all the noise that was around me, ANC mode turned on, but it says I was in private, which is wrong. I was in a very noisy environment. Suddenly there was a loud bang noise when the kids made with a toy, and all of a sudden hear through mode activated for some random reason, and I couldn't turn it off. The only way to turn it off was to deactivate Smart Sound. Honestly, Smart Sound doesn't work that well. It's really a gimmick. It's very finicky. In fact, as I'm talking and recording all this, you notice that it's activating in private mode if I'm in a quiet location. Ironically, I'm being very vocal and loud as I record this very same session. So here's proof on this video it doesn't work that well. And that's pretty much a wrap for this review because the ANC performance is really lackluster. As I mentioned earlier, passive noise cancelling, just simply putting them on and keeping ANC off works incredibly well, way better than expected. Now they are rain resistant, they have some cool features like auto pause, the call quality of course because it has a built-in microphone, well many microphones rather, but there are some other little quirks there. It's not worth the price tag. It should be $50 less in Canada and in the US, and then maybe you could justify it. But regardless, that's the end of my review. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, be sure to check out my social links in the video description. Hit the like button, it does help, subscribe, and thanks for watching.